There are moments when loneliness does not arrive with tears. It comes quietly, softly, almost unnoticed until it settles deep in your chest. I remember one night like that. The house was silent, the lights were low. Outside, the city was still awake somewhere far away. But inside my room, time felt frozen. I sat at the edge of my bed, my phone resting face down beside me, untouched. Not because I didn't want to talk, but because I didn't know who would truly listen. My mind replayed the day again and again, conversations that felt hollow, smiles that required effort, laughter that didn't quite reach my heart. I had been around people all day, yet now, in the quiet, the truth surfaced gently but painfully. I felt completely alone. Not lonely in the simple sense, but alone in a deeper way, the kind where your soul feels disconnected, where even your own thoughts feel distant from you. And in that moment, a question rose from somewhere deep inside me. If I disappeared into this silence, would anyone notice? This is the loneliness many of us carry, the loneliness that hides behind productivity, behind responsibility, behind strength. We move through life doing what is expected, saying what is required, being what others need, while slowly forgetting what we need. And so our hearts break quietly, not all at once, but little by little. A disappointment here, a misunderstanding there, a prayer that felt unanswered, a relationship that faded without closure, until one day we realize we are carrying a broken heart, and we don't even remember when it first cracked. Yet even here, at the lowest point of this loneliness, hope begins its quiet work, because hope does not rush in to fix everything. Hope sits with us. Hope listens. Hope begins where honesty lives.
So I turn to you, Lord, in this moment. I come to you not with polished words, but with a heart that feels tired of being strong. I admit that I feel alone, more often than I let others see. I admit that I carry fears I don't talk about. I admit that sometimes my faith feels fragile, stretched thin by waiting and disappointment. Why do I feel afraid even when nothing is wrong? Why does my chest tighten when the room grows quiet? Why do negative thoughts arrive uninvited, whispering doubts about my worth, my future, my place in this world? Lord, I confess that some of my fear comes from old wounds. Moments when I reached out and no one reached back. Times when I needed comfort but learned to survive without it. Seasons when I prayed and waited and waited. These memories live inside me. They shape how I love. They shape how I trust. They shape how alone I feel even now. There are nights when my mind becomes my loudest enemy. It replays conversations I wish I had handled differently. It reminds me of mistakes I thought I had forgiven myself for. It tells me stories that sound convincing but leave me empty. You're behind. You're not enough. Everyone else has moved forward except you. Lord, these thoughts weigh heavily on my soul. They make me question myself. They make me doubt your nearness. And yet, even as I wrestle with them, something within me longs for you. Because deep down, I know my loneliness is not random. It is revealing places within me that still need healing. It is exposing areas where fear has taken root instead of trust. So I pause. I breathe. I allow myself a moment of gentle spiritual reflection. What if this loneliness is not evidence of your absence, but an invitation into deeper communion with you? What if the silence I fear is actually holy ground, a space where distractions fade and truth can finally speak? You have always been present, Lord, even when I felt forgotten. You have seen every tear that never fell. You have heard every prayer I was too tired to speak aloud. Perhaps this loneliness is not meant to break me, but to soften me. Perhaps this broken heart is not the end of my story, but the doorway through which hope will enter. So now I pray slowly, honestly, without pretending. Lord, meet me in the moments I feel completely alone. When the world feels distant, when my heart feels heavy, when I question my value and my direction. Sit with me in the quiet. Hold me in the waiting. Remind me that your presence does not depend on my feelings. Heal the places in my heart that learned to expect abandonment. Heal the memories that taught me to guard myself too tightly. Heal the fear that tells me I must carry everything alone. Replace my anxious thoughts with your peace. Replace my self-doubt with your truth. Replace my loneliness with the assurance of your nearness. Lord, when I feel unseen, remind me that you see me fully. When I feel unheard, remind me that you listen patiently. When I feel unworthy, remind me that your love is not earned, it is given. Teach my heart how to rest again. Teach my soul how to trust again. Teach me that vulnerability is not weakness, but a pathway to healing. If there are tears I've hidden from the world, receive them. If there are questions I'm afraid to ask, welcome them. If there is pain I've buried too deeply, bring it gently into the light. I surrender my loneliness to you, not as a failure, but as an offering of honesty, an offering of need, an offering of hope waiting to be reborn. And slowly, something begins to shift. The silence no longer feels empty. The darkness no longer feels threatening. The loneliness no longer feels endless. I realize that even here, in this quiet moment, I am not abandoned. I am accompanied. I am held. Hope does not erase the pain, but it steadies my heart. It reminds me that this moment is not permanent. And I begin to understand. Loneliness does not mean God has left me. It means He's inviting me closer. Lord, thank you for meeting me in my brokenness. Thank you for staying when I felt unworthy of staying with. Thank you for turning my silence into a sacred space. Help me carry this hope into tomorrow, into uncertainty, into healing that unfolds slowly. Transform my broken heart into fertile ground for faith. Transform my waiting into quiet strength. Transform my loneliness into deeper trust. And to anyone listening to this prayer right now, if you feel alone, lost, or unseen, you are not imagining it, and you are not weak. This prayer is for you. This moment is for you. May you feel peace settle where anxiety once lived. May you feel hope rise where despair once whispered. May you remember that even in your loneliest moments, you are deeply, endlessly loved. If this prayer touched your heart, I invite you to stay with us. Subscribe to this channel and walk with us as we pray together each day for healing, for peace, and for renewed hope. You are not alone on this journey. We are here, and God is with you, even now.